Our meteorologist, Elita Loresca, see how things are shaping up. Good morning, Elita.
Yeah, good morning, Rita. Yeah, let's do it this morning. This morning, we're waking up to a little bit of fog out there, but like we talked about yesterday in the forecast, we've got some strong winds building in this morning, and you will notice it first thing out the door as those winds have been steadily gusting or even moving through the area between 15 to 25 miles per hour. A live look outside, and you can see a little bit of haze. Temperature-wise, we're in the mid to upper 70s, so with those southerly winds, those temperatures will not be cooling off all that much this morning. In fact, those temperatures this morning are closer to where our normal high should be for this time of year versus the low. Lows are typically still in the 50s this time of year. Not the case this morning. We're running about 20 degrees above that. You'll notice that the winds are elevated this morning, especially where you're seeing those shades of green. We've got 30 to 35 mile per hour gusts, 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts around Sugar Land at 28, 26 in Pearland, 30 to 35 mile per hour gusts in Port Arthur. You know the drill. Here's a look at the wind advisories. These actually go into effect beginning at 7 a.m. Right now, it does not include all of Harris County, but those of you around Beach City, on the northeast, or rather east side of town around Galveston Bay, parts of Harris County definitely going to feel the impacts of these southerly winds, and all of our coastal communities are also in that wind advisory, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. Notice the warm up. I mentioned that temperature readings won't be cooling all that much, so compared to yesterday, those temperatures are anywhere from 14 to 15 degrees warmer. We've got temperatures pretty much in the mid to upper 70s this morning, 75 in Bay City. Sugar Land, you're at 77. So here's the reason why for these strong winds. We've got a cold front that's draped over West Texas. This front is going to stall to our west. It will not get the push that it needs to cross our area until Saturday. So over the next couple of days, we'll be monitoring for where those strong thunderstorms are going to be setting up. This morning, those strong thunderstorms are setting up over portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri. That's where a tornado watch is in place. Now, there will be some rain on our radar later on this morning and during the afternoon, potentially for our north and west areas. And these little embedded cells could produce some strong winds. There is going to be a slight risk for some strong and severe thunderstorms north and west of Houston. That line of showers doesn't quite make it into our area, so we're keeping the rain chances, at least here around Harris County, less than 20% for today. Look for temperature readings to warm somewhere into the mid to upper 80s. But that front that eventually moves in on Saturday, that gives us our best chance of widespread showers and thunderstorms. I'll walk you through that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Elita.
4:18 on this windy Wednesday. We've got some wind advisories in place for parts of southeast Texas, not just across southeast Texas, but much of the state will be seeing some stronger winds this morning and throughout the day, the next couple of days, because eventually that cold front that is cutting across Lubbock this morning, portions of the Panhandle, we anticipate this front to eventually stall out off to our west. Now, we do anticipate the winds to get stronger. We're seeing those gusts this morning between 25 to 30 miles per hour in some of the strongest spots. But by this afternoon, those gusts will be closer to 40 to 45. And you can see as that front stalls out somewhere over the hill country, those winds will remain elevated, not just across portions of the Lone Star State, but also stretching out toward Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So we do have that wind advisory, as I mentioned, several counties across the region, including Fort Bend right now. Most of Harris County not under a wind advisory, but those of you around Galveston Bay along nearshore waters, you're going to be dealing with those strong winds. Those winds out of the south sustained 25 to 35 miles per hour with those gusts up to 45. Live look outside, and these winds are going to be inhibiting a lot of fog to form this morning. There could be some patches here and there, but nothing really settling in because those winds are so strong that it's mixing out the clouds. Temperatures are starting off very warm this morning in the mid to upper 70s, 74 degrees in Galveston. The humidity levels are also on the increase along the coastline. You can see the wind gusts throughout the day will be sitting somewhere between 30, 35 miles per hour and occasionally getting closer to 40 and even 45. Right now, those temperatures in Brenham are 70 74, 75 in Conroe, a good 10 degrees warmer compared to yesterday at this time. And we'll find that temperatures will be just a few degrees shy from challenging any records today. We've got a better chance of tying or even breaking some records for tomorrow, as those temperatures will be closer to hitting 90 degrees. And overnight, those temperatures will barely drop off. I mean, we're talking temperatures tomorrow morning equally as warm. The humidity levels will be equally as high. So the setup is that front will be the focus point of some heavy rain and thunderstorms. This morning, tornado watches in place, portions of Oklahoma. We've got areas in Missouri as well as Kansas that are under a tornado watch. And this is where we're going to see an outbreak of severe weather. We're not just talking about the potential for some damaging winds and golf ball size hail, but there's an area that the Storm Prediction Center, this pink that you see there, anytime you see that, that is bad news for those communities. That is the highest threshold for seeing not just severe weather, but likely to see tornadoes EF2 or stronger. So we are going to be hearing more about what's happening there later on tonight, especially on World News. For those of you that, tune in during the evening hours, most likely we'll have meteorologists there on scene in that high-risk area. Meanwhile, for us, there is going to be a slight risk for some strong and severe thunderstorms. The timeline for that will be late this morning into the early part of the afternoon. Doesn't look too ominous here with Future Track, but a couple of these cells will be worth monitoring because the instability there will be a little bit more favorable for some damaging winds, maybe even some hail, and can't rule out any sort of spin up. So we'll be watching that. Otherwise, here in Houston, it looks like that little boundary that starts to form weekend. So we've got a slim chance for some wet weather for today. That chance for rain and thunderstorms increase later this week, especially into the weekend. You'll see a cluster of storms out toward West Texas for Friday, but for us, it's going to be a Saturday event as a line of storms makes its way late in the morning during the afternoon hours. And right now, it still looks like we get a little bit of rain Sunday morning, but the majority of that rain clears out by Sunday night, and then we are in for the good stuff. We've got a nice cool down, some lower humidity, and that's going to take us into the new week as temperature readings remain nice and cool the first few days. You can expect that warm up, though, to commence late next week. Back to you.
Thanks, Elita.
Elita Loresca, hopefully a good thing as in maybe some cooler temps.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, I like how you're thinking, Mr. Brandon. Yes, good morning, good morning. Yes, we do have some wind. I've got proof. You can see observation sites across southeast Texas, 15 to 25 mile per hour winds. Some of the strongest spots reporting gusts closer to 30 to even 35 around Sugar Land, close to 30 mile per hour gusts. We've got 25 to 30 mile per hour gusts from Winnie out toward Port Arthur. So some of you, as you step outside this morning, yeah, get ready. Definitely want to hold on to those hats or hold on to those hoodies. You've got wind advisories starting at 7 a.m. this morning, and then we've got those continuing for several hours, at least until 5 o'clock this afternoon. And we do anticipate these winds to remain strong Thursday and into Friday out ahead of our next cold front. You can see temperature readings are averaging anywhere from 5 to 10, even as much as 14 degrees warmer compared to yesterday. So with that Gulf breeze, it's limiting how temperature readings cool off this morning. Temperature reading right now at 75 in Conroe. We're in the low 70s in Liberty. And for today, not ruling out a stray rain shower to get spit out of these clouds. We've got a cold front that's going to continue to slide toward the hill country. Right now, it is providing some very heavy rain and some strong thunderstorms up toward Oklahoma. Tornado watches in place this morning. For us, there could be a couple of these stronger thunderstorms north and west of Houston, but you can see this broken cluster of showers and it weakening as it continues to slide toward the east. So there's not a strong signal today that we're going to see any of those thunderstorms here along the Houston area. Along I-10 should stay north and west of Houston late this morning into the early part of the afternoon. So this is how we go throughout the day. Temperature readings around 10 o'clock this morning, 79 going for highs in the mid 80s. We get even warmer tomorrow, but as Brendan alluded to, we've got some cooler weather on the way. I'll time that out for you coming up in my full forecast.
Alita, thank you.
It was Alita.
Not champion.
This forecast.
Weather. I know. Unfortunately, I wish I could say that the weather would be winning for our friends and family that are headed out towards San Antonio this weekend. Not the case. In fact, all of the action that you're seeing to the north of the Lone Star State this morning, that active weather pattern is going to be shifting southward as we get into the weekend, courtesy of this upper level low. Right now, all of the energy from that storm system has shifted northward, but But as that continues to dig southward, that means that the storm track will also be shifting southward. And here is a look at future track and what the radar could look like as we go into Saturday morning during the afternoon hours. You can see a line of heavy rain and thunderstorms that will be pretty much developing out toward West Texas. Will be closing in on San Antonio along I-35 out toward the hill country. By the evening hours, the majority of that rain should be shifting in toward the Houston area, but it's during the early part of the day, during the early part of the afternoon where things are going to be very, very active. And of course, Friday, for those of you that may be getting an early start, maybe making it a nice family trip headed out towards San Antonio, things are going to be active as well on Friday. For us, those rain chances, we've increased the probability, meaning that the coverage of these showers and thunderstorms will be higher than what the models were dictating even over the past weekend and earlier in the week. So now we're up to 80% chance. That chance for rain on Sunday, mainly in the morning hours, and then drying out as that system continues to progress eastward into Louisiana by Sunday night. Temperature-wise this morning in the upper 70s. We're starting off dry this morning. Not much in the way of fog because those winds are helping to limit any sort of coverage of fog from settling in. A breezy start in Lake Conroe as well with 15-mile-per-hour winds. Here you can see that the sustained winds are strong across southeast Texas. That's why you're seeing all that blue on the map, indicative of some stronger winds blowing in, 15 to 20-mile-per-hour winds, but gusting closer to 40 miles per hour as we get into the afternoon. And that wind advisory goes into place at 7 a.m. And even those areas that are not under wind advisories, you're still going to see some breezy conditions. Those counties that are under the wind advisory, those are where the gusts could exceed 35 and even 40 miles per hour. Quick look at temperature readings in and around your neighborhood. 74 degrees in Columbus, 75 in Morton. If you're a fan of these 80-degree readings, then you've got a couple more days to enjoy before we see those temperatures get knocked down by that next cold front. Now, the cold front that you're seeing on the map this morning is going to stall out. This is not going to get that push to move through until that low pressure system that I showed you exits the state. And that won't happen again until we get into that Saturday night, Sunday morning time frame. And you can see the leading edge of some of that heavy rain now pushing across the central parts of Oklahoma. We've got a severe weather threat for today, and you'll be hearing more about it throughout the morning. A high likelihood we'll see not just some damaging winds, golf ball sized hail in this hatched area, but really focused on portions of Arkansas this morning throughout the afternoon hours. Areas like Kansas City, Missouri, going to be dealing with some severe weather there, and the potential for tornadoes strengthening stronger than EF2. So we're looking at 100+ winds there. Severe weather threat for us locally, mainly in our northwest county. And it is a slim chance, very small window here that we could see a few showers and thunderstorms late this morning into the early part of the afternoon. So I'll be watching 13 alert radar as we continue through the morning hours, as well as meteorologist Rachel Bryars. Now, wet and stormy later this week as that low pressure system digs to the south. It gives us our first bursts of showers and thunderstorms early in the morning tomorrow, or rather on Friday morning, and then by Saturday we have a better line of showers and thunderstorms crossing the Houston area, as I just showed you. And we're not only dealing with just some heavy rain, but also the potential with some severe weather. A 30% chance, once again, the bullseye portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, up toward the Memphis area. For us on Saturday, parts of our viewing area, north and northeast of town, could see a strong to severe thunderstorm. So just putting you on notice that that line of storms could have impacts and damaging winds and hail, and also a slight risk for some ponding on the roads, for some flooding. Right now we're looking at some of the highest rainfall totals really across areas of the Tennessee Valley, but there could be about a ½ an inch to an inch of rain blowing through here as we get into the weekend. Beyond the weekend, looking great with some cooler weather. Yeah, we're getting a nice drop in temperatures. Those overnight lows somewhere in the upper 40s to low 50s by next week.
All right.